Hey guys, this is the fourth video of the racing guide for Scions. In the last part we got through the ledge, and now we're continuing on to Brutus, and yeah, we keep going, right? What's very important on ledge is to add your skill points as you go. Try and stay on the move for that. I'm actually gonna go back for this just to explain it, but picking up coral rings is very important. It might not seem for a late game character like 3 life regen is a lot, but for us it's kind of like a potion. But yeah, you want to be fire trapping as much as possible. When your fire trap levels up, especially since we have a +1, we got lucky enough to get a +1. You just really want to fire trap once and run through it. Try and place your fire traps in the middle of mobs and just let them burn down. As you see, we're not killing anything, but our EXP bar is moving. Avoid goats. But yeah, the timing for Scion, in my opinion, is hitting Harrier at about level 7 as we leave. We got a medium life flask. You really want to pick up those because they help you a lot with the Brutus fight. You want to equip him. You want to make sure that you always have a flask that's filled. But yeah, the timing is really Harrier. Try and get Harrier as fast as possible. Obviously keep it efficient. Don't kill a single mob and waste time like that. Always go for packs of mobs. I'm gonna pick up the chain belt just because we don't have a belt. Yeah, try and get Harrier as fast as possible because it really helps. You see, all those mobs died. We didn't need to attack them twice. We didn't need to do any of that. You don't necessarily have to get the waypoint over here, but I sometimes like it, sometimes I don't. And what's really happening here, this is a level 8 zone, and to make Brutus a lot simpler for us, the item that we're really looking for right now is a light brigandine. It's a evasion armor chest piece that does a lot of good for us. It basically makes it so that Brutus is a lot simpler and you can mostly face tank and just kill him with Spark. Luckily we found a second coral ring, so that's also going to help us a lot, and we're getting into the prison. The layout for the climb is pretty simple. Just try and stick to a side and you'll be safe. You know, after 2-3 races you're going to have it all figured out. Lower prison is a lot more tricky though. A lot more tricky. It's kind of RNG based. There might be some tactics to it, but as far as I know, there's really nothing that can help you. Just again, try and get the levels. The skill points aren't as important right now because the int doesn't really give you much. But yeah, you have two choices: go left or go right. It's up to RNG which way it really is. You can kind of figure out the layouts for yourself. I think this might be a second dead end. Yeah, you can kind of figure out the layouts for yourself later on and read into them. But yeah, because of the masters in this hardcore league, they switch up the layouts quite a bit, so they make them a lot more problematic for you to read. But I think it's in the top left, right over here. Yeah. So we get to upper prison. We still didn't find a light brigandine chest piece, so I'm gonna try not to overlevel just to show you guys how exactly the fight looks in a worst case scenario. But you might want to try and kill a little bit more. As you can see, our gems are beginning to level up, and as they level up, that's the part where you wanna reach Brutus. I think that's a dead end, and we found a portal scroll, so that's immensely important because it's gonna help us with the Brutus fight. You know, in case you need your pods getting refreshed, sometimes you can really get RNG'd in the Brutus fight. It just really helps. Also, picking up tricorns, for instance, is also helpful later on, but you really shouldn't be focusing on it. And there we go. Light Brigandine. This is something that's really going to help us with Brutus. Again, it's a lot of armor evasion. You don't want to equip it immediately so that it doesn't slow us down, like I've explained in the other videos. And right now we're focusing on finding Brutus along with having our gems level. This is a pretty difficult timing to hit, but as long as your spark levels, you're pretty much fine. I think we've got this here. Oh, no, actually no, it's an inner layout, so we have to go inside of the zone, so to say. But at this point, you don't really want to be killing too much. It's right over here, I believe, yes. So you don't want to be killing too much. You just want to hit that timing and get to the next zone so that you're not over leveled and you can get the most EXP value out of everything. And yeah, we run through this. This is a pretty basic layout. It's pretty much exactly the same every single time. You open up a couple doors, no problem. And yeah, I think we're gonna kill Brutus in this video. It's only been 5 minutes. So we run through all this stuff. Here you follow the trail of blood to get to the door as fast as possible. What I highly recommend is equipping our chest piece, and also, since we were lucky enough to get a +1 lightning, get your spark inside of this. You have 2 coral rings. You're pretty much prepped, right? You're pretty much ready. Also, you can, I guess you can equip this. Not really that big of a deal, but it helps. So we get into the Brutus fight. Honestly, Fire Trap, Spark, and you should be fine. With the amount of gear that we've got, unless he crits us really bad, just try and stay out of the spikes. Unless he crits us really bad, he should be as easy as possible. Try and dodge that. You don't have to, but try and dodge it. And you see, even though the ads spawn, we can just completely wreck him. So, what happens at this point? At this point, we have killed Brutus. Your equipment should be pretty much set. You should figure out where to put your equipment so that you have the most optimal amount of space as you run through Brutus through the quarters. And then try and pick up as many blue items as possible. Obviously target the smaller ones, but you know, don't be too specific about it. You want to log out. Because we already have the waypoint for the next zone. As we kill Brutus, we don't have to exit. We already got everything that we need. And yeah, at this point we want to pick up Flame Blast. Flame Blast is very, very important. We get the glyph reward. I like to go for a decoy totem, just so if we find a iron ring, we can make that into a ruby ring and get a +1 faster, but we have +1s, so it doesn't really matter until we get quartz scepters. That's a level 15 item. I'm gonna explain later. And yeah, exact same scenario, right? Everything blue that we've picked up, we really just want to vendor. We get that. Everything seems to be vendorable. We need some wisdom scrolls. We don't really have much. And we get a orb of transmutation. This orb of transmutation you can use to buy a jade amulet. I don't really like to go for a jade amulet too fast, simply because it's very easy to drop. And honestly, until the Mervo kill, we don't need, well, even Act 2 actually, we don't need the dexterity for our fire trap, because that's why we would be getting it for our fire trap. So we don't need it, but since we have these gems, I expect to get another transmute before we get the next tier of scepters, so to say. So yeah, pick the highest one. Since it's a jade, you know, I like to go with this. And hey, we got cast speed. I like to chance jewelry, especially ruby rings, especially jades, because we're gonna be stuck with this pretty much throughout the entire race. Again, from the get-go, you should be de-equipping your Light Brigandine. We're not gonna use the chest piece for a really long time. I can't even pinpoint until where. I guess you can use it for Act 2 sins, but not necessarily. And yeah, that's pretty much it. We picked up our Flame Blast. Oh yeah, and of course, switch back to your Lightning Tendrils. You're not going to be using Spark anymore. I like to level it in case I find a Vol Orb. You can get Vol Spark. So I like to level it, but if you don't have the sockets, don't worry about it too much. Definitely don't sell it in case you find an Iron Ring. That way you can vendor it for, or if you have to buy one. We don't have Scrolls of Wisdom, so we're not going to do that. But if you find an Iron Ring, you can vendor it for a Sapphire Ring, so that Mervo is going to be easier. Oh, Okay, this was kind of a big portion, but I hope you guys still enjoyed it and you found this informative. If you have any questions, ask me on the live stream. Leave it in the YouTube comment section. Like I said, we're gonna be releasing these videos every 3 days or so. I recorded a couple in a row now, and then depending on your guys' feedback, I'm gonna be making more and releasing more, and maybe looking into other classes if the feedback is positive. So thank you very much for tuning in, and I hope to see you guys in the next one, where we're going to be explaining Prisoner's Gate, which is the next zone, and yeah, maybe a little bit more, maybe even Caverns of Wrath and Coves. We'll see. But thanks very much again. See you guys around. Bye!